Smiles, Synths, and Student Politics, a tale of two Simpsons subplots. The provided video segment is a rich, multi-layered sequence from an episode of The Simpsons, masterfully weaving together two distinct, seemingly unrelated plot lines that both fundamentally explore themes of artificiality, societal expectations, and the lengths individuals go to in pursuit of acceptance, popularity, and love. The primary narrative focuses on the intellectual and often ostracized Lisa Simpson, who finds herself grappling with a sudden, forced change in her physical appearance that unexpectedly catapults her into the upper echelons of school popularity. The secondary, parallel storyline reunites Homer and Marge Simpson with Marge's former suitor, the eccentric, narcissistic, and slightly unhinged billionaire Artie Ziff, drawing them into a bizarre wedding scenario that hides a deeply unsettling secret, The Simpsons' 24 Hours. This comprehensive summary will dissect the events, character interactions, and underlying social commentary embedded within the video. The narrative commences with a classic The Simpsons 24 Hours visual gag. A squished penny rests on a train track. As a heavy train rumbles over it, the penny is flattened, revealing an intricate, perfectly engraved portrait of the Simpson family sitting on their iconic couch. A hand, belonging to Nelson Muntz, picks it up, only for another train to pass by immediately, squishing the penny, and presumably Nelson's hand, flat, as his signature laugh echoes in the background. This brief, violent, and humorous opening sets a slightly chaotic tone before transitioning to the main plot. We are introduced to Lisa's predicament on a typical Springfield sidewalk. A grumpy, elderly man approaches her with an unsolicited piece of archaic advice. "Hey, little lady, you'd be a lot prettier if you smiled." When Lisa questions him, he justifies his sexism by simply stating, "I'm a man, so I know what I'm talking about," promising her popularity if she complies. This interaction immediately establishes the episode's core conflict for Lisa, the societal pressure on females to project constant happiness and pleasantness regardless of their actual emotional state. This theme is further developed during a family dinner. Lisa brings up the man's comments, and Homer, rather than defending his daughter's right to her own expressions, agrees that she is very pretty. Bart, utilizing a modern piece of technology, introduces a puberty app on his smartphone. He scans Lisa's face, and the app, characterized by a bright purple interface, ruthlessly predicts her future based on her current, unsmiling visage. No social life. It's a harsh digital confirmation of the old man's warning. Homer attempts to use the app on Bart, but Marge interrupts to deliver more pressing news. She reveals that Lisa must get braces again. The orthodontist they previously used was, in Marge's words, a rogue periodontist, a humorous jab at the sometimes questionable medical professionals in Springfield. Lisa is dismayed, lamenting her status as the only family member requiring such dental hardware. Just as the family digests this news, a bizarre interruption occurs. A small, glowing blue box on the table projects a three-dimensional hologram of Artie Ziff. Artie, looking smug in his suit, announces to the pre-recorded Simpsons that he is getting married and they're invited. When asked rhetorically why he is marrying, he joyfully declares he has found his soulmate, complete with holographic fireworks. The family is initially perplexed, as Artie's lifelong, unrequited obsession with Marge is well known. Later that evening, Homer and Marge are in bed, when Homer opens a flyer from Lowe's, only to be startled by another hologram of Artie projecting from a small device. Artie, sensing their hesitation, promises a wonderful time if they attend. Homer, ever the opportunist, and drawn by the allure of a free event, presses the Accept button on the device. The narrative shifts back to Lisa at the orthodontist's office. The scene is cleverly shot from a low-angle perspective inside Lisa's mouth, emphasizing her vulnerability. The cheerful orthodontist finishes applying the top braces and hands Lisa a mirror. Lisa is horrified to discover that the large metal brackets are catching on the edges of her mouth, forcing her lips into a permanent, unnatural, and wide grin. She complains that she cannot close her mouth. The dentist, displaying a comical lack of empathy, explains that the brackets will adjust and that the main thing is that Lisa looks happy. Lisa, trapped in a physical manifestation of joy, emphatically declares, "I am not happy," creating a stark contrast between her internal feelings and outward appearance. The scene then transitions to Artie Ziff's extravagant bachelor party, a rooftop affair that screams new money and excess. A large groomsday clock ticks down the hours to the wedding. Homer marvels at the absurd displays of wealth, a massive tank labeled "Pick Your Lobster" and a bizarre petting zoo labeled "Pick Your Veal." The pool features synchronized swimmers whose routine concludes by forming a giant smiling portrait of Artie's face. Artie makes his entrance riding a rhino while sipping a martini. He greets Homer, "the man who beat me to Planet Marge." Artie boasts about his post-prison wealth, revealing a scam involving selling fake fireplace logs that look like cash, a visual gag realized by a literal fire pit labeled "Money to Burn," where guests are casually tossing wads of bills. Homer strikes up a conversation with a local newsman who confirms the wedding is legit, but admits he's only attending in hopes of scoring with the caterer. Artie then pulls Homer aside to show him the bride, who is entirely covered by a sheet with an apple in her mouth resting on a silver platter. In a classic Homer moment, he misinterprets the situation, sees only a giant piece of meat, and attempts to devour the bride whole, resulting in him being stretchered out by paramedics while his heart monitor beeps frantically. Meanwhile, at Springfield Elementary, Lisa experiences the profound and immediate effects of her forced smile. She is approached by Sherry and Terry, the school's resident mean girls, who uncharacteristically greet her as a girlfriend and compliment her appearance, asking if she had her eyebrows waxed. Milhouse is similarly entranced, stating she looks amazing. Even Nelson Muntz, the school bully, stops her in the hall, confessing that her smile makes him feel full, like he actually ate dinner last night. This tragic comic interaction highlights the desperate need for positivity in the bleak lives of some Springfield residents. The true test of her new appearance comes in Miss Hoover's classroom. Lisa stands at the front of the class to deliver a book report on the ending of Charlotte's Web. She recounts the tragic death of the spider, Charlotte, who crawled off to die alone. However, because Lisa is physically forced to beam broadly while delivering this sad news, the message is entirely lost. Instead of weeping, the class erupts into enthusiastic cheers, chanting her name. Miss Hoover commends Lisa for ending the class on a positive note. When Lisa points out the grim nature of the story, Miss Hoover replies that her smiling face made dying alone fun. Lisa is initially shocked by the shallowness of her peers. She questions how people can be so easily manipulated by a mere facial expression. However, staring out at her adoring classmates, she asks herself if she is shallow enough to enjoy this. With a genuine, albeit still forced-looking smile, she concludes, "I am." Embracing her newfound popularity, Lisa decides to run for student body president. She is seen outside putting up campaign posters that brazenly feature her smiling face with the slogan, "Attractive Smile," prominently displayed alongside words like loyalty and integrity. Nelson and Milhouse watch her. Nelson calls Milhouse a poser for only supporting Lisa now that she is popular, punching him in the stomach. Lisa sets up a campaign headquarters in her bedroom, utilizing Bart's tech skills and Milhouse's demographic analysis. Milhouse assures her she is picking up the key group of girls who don't like Milhouse. Lisa is confident, noting she is up against a tough opponent, W. Spuckler, a member of Cletus's hillbilly family, but believes her smile will carry her through. Milhouse assures her it's in the bag, but Lisa, perhaps revealing a lingering insecurity, replies, "Don't be so sure." The episode then returns to the Artie Ziff storyline. The wedding takes place at a massive, luxurious log cabin lodge. The Simpson family sits in the audience. Marge is visibly uncomfortable, stating that being here sort of ends a chapter in my life, implying a final closure to Artie's obsession. An event coordinator approaches Homer and urgently requests that he walk the bride down the incredibly long 20-foot aisle. Homer agrees, and is soon walking arm in arm with a bride whose face is obscured by a thick veil. Homer babbles emotionally about how fast she grew up. They reach the altar where Artie awaits with a rabbi. The rabbi notes the unique nature of the ceremony, stating the bride and groom wrote their own vows. The moment of truth arrives. The veil is lifted. The bride is revealed to be an exact replica of Marge Simpson, complete with the towering blue hair and green dress. The real Marge, sitting in the audience, is horrified, gasping, "Oh my God, this is too weird. I can't take this anymore. We're getting out of here." Homer agrees, calling it creepy, noting that even the rhino from the bachelor party is leaving in disgust. Back in Springfield, Lisa faces a crisis. She attends her orthodontist appointment the day before the crucial student council debate. To her utter shock, the dentist removes the bottom braces. Lisa looks in the mirror and is devastated to see